What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new YouTube video on the Wiffen Twins channel. I'm Daniel, if you didn't already know, and
I'm Nathan.
okay, and we're going to talk about our swimming background. So we're going to start off with obviously how we started. I think we started in around 2007 in Lurgan Swimming Club, just outside our house, and then that was it. No what happened after that, Nathan.
So then we moved to Lisbon Swimming Club, and then we were in there. I think after Lurgan, we went to Lisbon for around
for a while.
When we basically went before we went to university, 6 months before.
Yeah, so we started off there for a long time in Lisbon, and I think we actually really liked swimming at that younger age, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. I think it was good, but we went through the squads. Obviously, Lisbon has like development squads, don't they?
Yeah, like Div 1 to 3, and then I can't remember the top
Like
four.
national junior squad and national senior, national junior, national senior squad, and then we moved up, and I think we moved up quite fast, didn't we?
Yeah, well, you actually moved up to the national squad on trial before me, and then obviously the boy doesn't need a trial to move up, so then we actually moved up at the same time.
Yeah, we did move up at the same time. I actually moved up and got put back down again for talking too much,
Which is a very true fact to today. So
yeah, and we loved it there. And then I made some notes obviously on this for this video, and that was when we really started competitive swimming. Was when we moved to Lisbon, and By the way, Stan Shepherd was our coach, still is at Lisbon, and he also taught us how to swim. Fun fact, and we loved it, I think. And then what year did Martin move? 2017.
oh god, I don't know, but they went through a phase for a year of going through different coaches.
Yeah, it wasn't a great time, to be honest.
And then we got Martin, which worked out well for some people.
It worked out really well for me. 2017, I think that was when Martin came. I hope it was around 2016, 2017. Obviously, that was kind of a good breakout year for me. I made EYOF for Ireland. Sadly, didn't go because I didn't have my Irish passport in time. And it was just decent. I was pretty fast in general.
Yeah.
How was your 2017?
I can't remember. Probably very average.
I think I put a note down here talking about like not going to competitions but seeing your friends go, basically, because I feel like some people are around that age at the moment, and I think you just need to remember that EYOF and those junior competitions really don't matter at all compared to senior level swimming.
Like, I haven't been to any junior competitions, and I'm going pretty quick times now at the moment.
So I think if you just look at it as a way that it's good to go, but you don't really need it. Next up, we have I've got a question about Martin. Were his sessions hard? You got what's your memory of Martin's sessions?
I can just remember every Saturday we did 30 100s. I can't remember. Were they off 130? I can't remember.
I don't remember. Probably 130, 140.
I just remember doing that, and that was our one long course session a week. Then I remember all the kick sets, disgusting kick sets we did. Like, I remember there was one of them where we did 10 50s. It was all on 1 minute pace. So 10 50s, but you had to go sub 45 seconds.
Short course,
yeah. On the pace of it. So if you didn't go sub, then you would get kicked out. Well, not like kicked out of the session, but you would stop because it was a challenge. Yeah. So we went 10 50s, 10 100s, 10 150s, 10 200s.
10 400s.
Well, I didn't get to the 4.
Yeah, we didn't get that far. But if you did get that far, he said he'd buy you a holiday. I don't know if anybody actually did go that far, but
I think James did.
Oh yeah, James Edgar might have actually.
Never got that holiday though, did he?
I don't think he ever got the holiday. And there were also the kick sets Nathan mentioned. I think, like, distinctly remembering Martin probably kicked me out a couple of sessions for, like, he was quite harsh on, like, if I didn't make a time. Like, I think I missed a time once by like 2/100ths of a second, and he kicked me out because he knew that I'd learn from it and make me a better swimmer. They give us his 10 400s at Scalby today, to be honest. Yeah, they were off like 5 minutes, and I had to go sub 4:30, and I didn't make it the first time, and he just kept giving me. He just kept giving me that. This was when I was 16 or 15. He just kept giving me them every day until I'd make it. It was probably one of the hardest sets of the time.
I think one of the sets I did that was mentally hard was we did 2050s kick. Sometimes there was like, if you did make sub 45, which we were pretty awful at kick.
Yeah, we still are not that good at kick. We're better.
Like, I went like 107 for a 100 kick short course the other day. So.
Yeah, but that's for arm pulls, so we don't count it.
It wasn't that many arm pulls. But I remember if you didn't make it, you had to keep going. I ended up doing so many. It was just awful. Mm-hmm. And then like when we would go to school, like our day-to-day routine when we were at school was like get up at like same time around now. I think like 4 something in the morning.
I'm not up that early.
Go to training, then have breakfast in the car on the way to the bus, then go get on the bus, go to school till like 3, half 3, then come home, have dinner in the car, and go to training in the evening, and then have like a second dinner. Oh, so I think maybe gym after the second last session, and then go home and maybe have like another dinner. It depends if how hungry we were.
Yeah. Thank God we are good parents. All I can say, they were making dinners for us when we were in the car the whole time. But yeah,
suck up, huh?
Yeah, I might be the favourite child over here.
And then I'd say like the hard part of that was like you were always on the move. Like when we were in school, some days after our gym sessions, I was struggling to walk upstairs. Where like now we don't have to do as much because we're at university, so then it's kind of like more chill.
Yeah, it's choice, basically.
It's a choice. We always go to our lectures though because you pay, so it's a waste of money if you don't.
Yeah, very true, Nathan. Then we move on to, I've got here down, we're just going to go through the years basically. 2018. I don't know. All I remember from that year is I swam terrible. I literally was way off personal best, like talking minutes off in 1500. And but do you remember?
I actually can't remember anything about me swimming in Lisbon. I can only remember me up until before university. That's all I can remember.
Okay. Well, I just thought about having a bad year then in swimming because more questions that have been coming through. I put on my Instagram every week questions and I'll talk about them in the podcast. And I guess having a bad year, it really, I don't know, it takes all you mentally, I guess, because you're not hitting your time, your personal best. Especially I'm 17 in 2018, and I'm like, basically you should be PBing like most of the time, I'd say, for a lot of people. And I was just nowhere near. I see all my friends who went to the competitions with me, just like throwing down mad times, and I just can't even get with it anywhere near my PB. And I think definitely taught me a lot about myself that year anyway in swimming. It told me what I need to prioritize and told me basically that I need to screw my head on and like as Martin said, get a kick up the arse and keep going. We'll move on to 2019. I think Nathan could talk a bit about this one because we had some fun times in 2019. Obviously, I made an Irish team for the first time internationally because I was at schools games in 2018. But I made the European and World Junior competition. I think I qualified in 1500 and 800. Decent meets in Kazan, Russia. It's the first time and probably last time I'll go there. And then what was the other? Where was it? Budapest in Hungary. One of my favourite pools. And Nathan, you want to talk a bit about your 2019?
Well, we went to a training camp.
Oh yeah. This was good.
Which was pretty fun. We did what did we do? We did over 100k.
107 I did.
I did a bit less because, I wasn't actually swimming at the end. I think because I didn't go to World Juniors or anything.
Yeah, it was at Deshe Lanzarote in Club Lazanta.
Yeah. It was just that year I just went. I can't remember anything I said, but I enjoyed going to Russia. I thought it was quite cool actually, like going to Moscow, because my parents and me went to Moscow first, and then went to Kazan to watch the Daniel race. So we missed out on the Moscow trip.
I did. I actually wish I went still.
Yeah, because you'll be going soon, will you? And then. And then I didn't. I actually it got me into swimming a bit more. Like I'd say I'm a bit of a swimming nerd. Not really anymore. I'll get into that later in the video. But then it's probably when I started like properly watching all swimming. So
Yeah, so I thought basically we went to Camp Lanzarote, as Nathan said. Great camp, did the most meters I've ever done, and did a pretty good European World Juniors. I think came, I don't even remember where I came, 12th maybe at European Juniors, and 18th at World Juniors. Yeah, so I'm PBs, so that was good.
just shout out to our brother Ben, best coach in recent times, I think.
Okay, so we were just talking about Lanzarote. Had a quick break there because the camera ran out of charge. But yeah, we're talking about, Nathan was saying about how Ben's the best coach in recent time, our brother.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we'll get back onto that more in the second part. So basically, after we just talked about World Juniors, and I said I came 14th, 18th, and then we moved to the end of that where we sadly Martin got let go from Lisbon Swimming Club, so we basically had nowhere to go because we wanted to swim competitively still. So we moved to Dublin. And,
yeah, so we moved to Dublin around our last year of school, and then basically our day-to-day life in Dublin was really like we got up around 4. Oh, sorry, no, in Dublin. We got up and then we'd go to training, and then we wouldn't really do that. We'd have schoolwork in the middle of the day, but it was really more like a university lifestyle, and we would only go to school 2 times a week, and we travelled down on like I think it was a Wednesday. I think we trained on Wednesday morning, went to school, then didn't train Wednesday evening, then didn't train Thursday morning, went to school, then came back and trained Thursday evening, and then stayed until the weekend. So that's really what the day-to-day life was in Dublin.
yeah, it was pretty fun. That was obviously the start of 2022, and then we swam. We continued that for 3 months. We were also living on campus on the Sports Institute in Dublin, and we were living with 2 or 3 sometimes other athletes as well. And then obviously we got hit by the big C. You want to talk about
COVID. So then we got hit by COVID, and then me and Daniel, we obviously told we weren't allowed to swim. So then we then we went around looking for a paddling pool. So for like 2 months we did like gym sessions, and like we went for runs, and so we're not very good at running. Gotta say that.
A lot of shit and splints happened in that part.
And so we went running, and then
we did like core sessions, circuits online, obviously with the National Centre. And then I think, as Nathan said, we had 2 months, and then we found this paddling pool on eBay, what my parents did. And basically we had it in a back garden. It's about 4 metres long, 2 metres wide, 14-degree water. And we attached a tether to our garage, and we were basically swimming on a tether for like 2 months, I think, maybe a month, in a wetsuit, obviously, because I can't hack 14-degree water. And do you want to talk a bit more about the paddle pool sessions?
Well, I think you mentioned it all.
Yeah, I think I should mention that Martin, our old coach from before we went to national, was giving us the sessions, and he was actually on Zoom on a ladder on an iPad in Dubai. So he had the good weather. Well, we didn't have that much of a good weather, but because we were in hail, rain, snow, whatever weather, we were in that pool. I think Nathan coped to it better than me though.
Yeah, Daniel's a bit of a complainer.
And yeah, that was that paddle pool. And then actually, luckily after that, we got a bit of a sponsor through Bedfordshire Hot Tubs, who gave us they give us an endless pool. So basically, it's a pool that has a wave machine at the front, and it pushes water at you while you swim. So we had a bit of resistance training as well. We had the tether on too, so a bit of a difference of feel. So we liked that. Obviously, and then I started back training before Nathan. You started back.
A month after Daniel, and then we were training together in Dublin at the same time, and then when we came back, I wasn't allowed to train with Daniel. Don't know why, but that's just what happened. And so then I trained with Bethany, Carson, and Steve sometimes, and then Daniel trained with Steve. Really,
Yeah.
that was.
And the reason why I actually went back before Nathan was because I was on the very bottom of the Olympic long list, outside burner, as you say. And then we move on to that. The best time of our lives, I'd say, was when September 2020. Definitely highlight because we moved to Loughborough.
So we're just getting on to when we moved to Loughborough, and the reason why I moved to Loughborough was because I chose it because when we were at Dave McCullough, a lot of the time Loughborough came over, and I got used to seeing all these fast swimmers from Loughborough. And they had a pretty decent backstroke squad back then, so then I was like, well, I did backstroke, but we'll get into what I do now later on in the video. And I can't remember if I saw like Faz or something like that when we were at Dave McCullough when I was younger doing backstroke, and I was like, oh, I want to go there. So then me and Anna got the grades, and we talked to Andy Manley about coming doing trials. We accidentally aired him though. I didn't know he wanted me and Ella to reply to his emails all the time, and then Martin got an email saying about why did they not text back? Are they not coming anymore? It's like, oh no, it didn't text back. I don't know why.
Sorry about not coming actually. Nathan. Yeah, Nathan actually wanted to come to Loughborough. I actually wasn't that. I didn't know if I wanted to come or not. I actually was looking at going to the US. Go to the US, but didn't obviously want to go there too long of a travel. So and also I don't think it would have suited me at all. But then obviously moved to Loughborough and it worked out clearly.
I feel like you're gonna break out into song here.
Next, so we obviously moved to Loughborough. We talk about the whole experience of moving into halls and meeting new people. Obviously, me and Nathan had no idea who anybody was before we went.
Well, we did. Actually, we knew who Will and Charlie.
Oh, we knew Will, and we knew Will Bell, and we knew Charlie Hutchinson.
They were pretty quick.
They were quick, obviously. And obviously, Will does my events as well at juniors, but they were on the British team.
I didn't know who
Irish
they were.
team.
So I didn't know who they were because I didn't know anybody. Yeah. So I was just following.
We knew Rachel Anderson as well. Should mention that.
I didn't.
I actually knew some people. But basically, we moved into halls. We moved into the CP block A, which is the athlete block.
We were 2-0.
I don't even remember. We were third floor in it anyway on the right.
2-0.
If anybody else watching this is in that flat, you can comment
2-0.
down below. But we were in that flat. Had a great flat. It was just me and Nathan who were swimmers, and we had Toby, who's a hockey player, Tom, who's a rugby player, Luke, who was a triathlete, now he does athletics, and then we had Taya, who does shot put and discus, and we had Ed, who's a footballer. So pretty big mix of a flat. Also very weird to get just pushed everybody into one flat where knowing them.
The OG flat,
Yeah. And but it was fun. It was weird living with that many people. Obviously, it was 7 of us. We never lived that full. Fridge space and freezer space is a problem. Anybody moving to university, claim your fridge and freezer space early before you go.
We got quite a couple of draws because we were sharing food anyway, so it was all good on that front.
Yeah, it was. But this is technically the first time as well we were away from home.
I don't know about that.
Well, Dublin, we were still seeing our parents every week. I mean, we weren't seeing our parents at all, really, to be honest.
People love to comment on our cooking as well, that it got a lot better since we moved to university because we were actually using recipe books. I never understand, though, just a little subtopic here, why people say they can't cook, because cooking is just following a recipe, so I don't really understand that.
Yeah, we use the Joe Wicks books, every one of them. In first year, we never really repeated a meal. We cooked everything out of those books.
Now we've gone stagnant and we do the same thing every week.
Yeah, we just eat the same thing every week.
So then it's consistent, so it's not the food's the problem.
Very true. And so that was basically moving to halls that year. Talk more about training, I guess. So I went straight into Andy Mandy's squad. Nathan, you were in...
Well, I've gone through quite a lot of coaches. So I think
Just take us through your first, till December 2020. Take us till then.
So I think, I can't remember what it was called. Matt?
Matt,
I can't remember his second name. Smith, but Smithhurst, that's where we go. I think he was the British 200 IMer. I had him for a while, and then I think he quit or something. I can't remember. And then we got I think Gareth. We had Gareth as well. But we mostly had Matt. He was our main coach. Gareth was the sprint coach, and I quite enjoyed that. We did a lot of different things that I wasn't used to. A lot of underwater work and breath holding. I don't think I've done as much breath holding in my life since we moved to Loughborough, to be honest. And think it's helped, because if you can, I don't know what I was going to say, but it helps.
So that was Nathan's up in December. I'll talk about mine. So I went straight into Andy's squad. Really just got thrown in the deep end, to be honest. I obviously got in a squad with Will and Felix, Felix from the vlogs. But to be honest, I hope Felix doesn't watch this, but I actually didn't know Felix before at all. I never really watched World Champs swimming, to be honest. Well, I never saw him really. And I arrived, and obviously he's very quick. He goes 3:43, so for a 400. And then I remember that it was great, because I just it was thrown into this group of just so many good people that I could just basically race all the time, and I just loved it. And it basically, I think that's what made me into how much progress I made in my first year. And then so talk through the meet. We had little meets. I started off on Loughborough silver standard. I think you were bronze, Nathan, weren't you?
I don't think I had a bronze time, but everybody started off on a bronze back end. So.
Yeah. So started silver, and then we had this university league where we were against all the different other universities in the UK in just GB maybe.
We only did one.
No, I think we did do two. I only did one. I'll get to that in a second, but
me and Alan were pretty good meets when we did. I think I went 201 or something for a 200 back short course when we did it.
I don't remember the time. Actually, I do remember the time. I remember it was probably, I want to say November. We did, it was weird at meters. We're talking I did a Fairs and meter freestyle short course, and I went 9:51, and obviously I'd never broken 8 minutes short course before, so I was 2 months in training with Loughborough, and I'm already going very quick. So that actually got me the equivalent of the gold time, moved up, so then I was getting even better. And then that was really December ended, and to be honest, we're looking at hopeful for making the Tokyo Olympics in the summer coming. Then we've got to January. What were you doing from January? We'll say January to April.
It was actually a bit before that, but then the second lockdown came, and I went home and trained. I could train in Craigavon, so I trained in Craigavon, and then I also trained in the hydro pool, whatever you call it, endless pool, for a month, and then went back to Loughborough to start training again. And then we did I think in August, start of August, we did our first I did my first big meet with them, where it was an in-house one. We had to get their times to make the squad for next year, and I think I got 5 times or something like that to make the squad or something, in every event. I was pretty flying then.
Yeah. So and I just mentioned, so Loughborough set standards to stay in Loughborough, and if you didn't meet the standards, you had to basically go home, because obviously COVID, we couldn't risk everybody getting training. So we did that. I obviously got the times, so I stayed, and I think January, February time was when I was really going fast. I think I did a great set of 3100s, maybe holding 57s, something like that. And then I was I'm going to make this Olympic team. But obviously we keep it quiet, what we do, so then people get surprised at the meet. So then we just kept training up until April. April was when I really was ready. Obviously Olympic trials coming up, flew to Ireland, prepped my meals when I got there, so then I would have changed my diet before the meet. And then went in first day, first event, and banged out the time. And then that's when I made the Olympics. You can see this all through the vlogs.
Got a tattoo over
I don't want to see my tattoo. You hold the mic there.
I'll just go on to what I was doing. I was just training at home with my brother again. He's always been there. And I trained with him in Craigavon for a bit, and then basically up until I think it was around January, February, March, April, Mayish, June time. I think it was around June. I started back training again, and then got a load of unofficial PBs, and then I was pretty happy. And then basically, me and Alan made a load of friends in halls. Best experience I've ever had. I would recommend anybody to go to university and go into halls, because it was one of the best experiences, to meeting a load of people and seeing what everybody else does, and all the parties and everything in like your flat. And then second year came around, and that was when the fun started. Everybody was training together. We had the classic Loughborough pre-season where it's just you.
About the Olympics before you start talking about second year.
All right. Well, I don't think anybody cared about that, but I'll give it to you.
We'll talk about obviously the plan from April onwards. Nathan's talked about what he did. Basically, I was very strict on what I did after Olympic trials. I'm not getting injured. I'm not getting sick. I'm not going out. I just stayed in my room the whole time. Probably the most boring flatmate there, but my flatmates understood and they supported me, so that was great. And we got to the Olympics. Great experience.
Obviously, you're not going to go out, are you, if you're in COVID?
Yeah, obviously not going out because of COVID.
But
But
the house.
yeah, and then so then we got to the Olympics. I think I've talked over. You've seen my Olympic vlogs, so I don't need to go over the whole experience. But basically, had a great time. Came 14th, and posted very quick times, and that was really the end of the 2021 season. And then we moved into second year of university, where I actually had my exams straight. I didn't take a break after the Olympics. Well, I took a swimming break. I didn't take a mental break. I went straight in, back, and I had to do my exams because I postponed them from the Olympics.
I'll have it back now. So we moved second year. We actually did mention that we went house looking in first year for our new house to live with Charlie and Will, and they'll probably
We'll be on a podcast very soon.
well, yeah.
You can move
This is the test podcast, and basically we moved into our house, 5 Run Close. That's where we lived. Look it up on Google, but we don't live there anymore, so you can't turn up. And we
Gonna turn up. Nobody's gonna turn up.
well, you never know, do you? Go viral, and I feel like when you say something like viral, I go viral, speak it into existence, and
someone go round to that house.
and just please don't go round to that house. And then we had pretty fun with Will and Charlie a lot of the time, yeah, and I think that's when I had a mini breakthrough on distance swimming. Still trained 200 back until April 2022. That's when I started training distance. But then for some reason I was like, oh, you know what? I'll in the short course trials I'll put in a shift and do an 800 for the crack, just because it was the first day, and end up going like 750.
December,
Yeah, in December. And
I
not
actually
done.
remember this because
I'm not done.
I was at World Champs the time before that. I had my first Bucks short course championships where I re-broke my Irish record from before. And I remember in December, nobody obviously knew that I re-broke the Irish record then, but everybody thought that Nathan broke my Irish record when I was at World Champs, and it was always coming for you.
And so then we did Irish, and I think I went what? So 750, 147 in the 200 free, and then 157 in the 200 back. So I think this was when I realised, oh, maybe I should move to distance. I mean freestyle. So then I started training a bit of freestyle a bit more, and then end of the year, I think I went like 203 in the I went 203 in the 200 back, and then I don't know, just like I was kind of settled in doing 200s because it was quite fun, less meters, you know. But then I'll give it to Dan now, and he can explain what he did.
When I explain to when should I'll explain my 2020
One.
21-22 season. So yeah, really good. Had a good short course. Made the World Short Course Abu Dhabi team. Great. Made my first world final there too. So it's great. Got some prize money. I don't know how much. Made like $3,000 from that. So it was obviously a great time. Great lot of money there. So obviously still been progressing. As my time in Loughborough still to date, but because I don't know, we just find so many different areas to work on, but we can dive into another podcast on just Loughborough experience by itself. It might take up the whole video on this one, but yeah, then I just made competitions, and then I was pre-selected for the World Champs in the summer, due from making a technical semi-final at the Olympics. So then I was just pushing through, went to the Stockholm meet in April to go get the 1500 time so I could swim out of that meet because I made it in the 800. And then all the way around to the summer, World Champs in Budapest, great atmosphere, we love that pool. And yeah, I made a first long course final as well. And yeah, that was really it. It was a great meet.
First
It's just me.
Irish person to make a long course.
Yeah, first ever Irish person Irish male to make a world long course final. And then yeah, I think it's just me and Callum Bain were at that meet as well, so it's quite nice, the little Irish team there. And
so then we'll get into, because that's really all that happened in 2021, 2022. Then the big season of 2022. So
yeah,
we'll get into this a bit.
Recent.
We'll get this into a bit more because it's a bit easy to remember. So 2022, we did our pre-season. The freshers come in. Should mention that. Every year, new freshers come in, and then they get used to the team, and then the pre-season's where everybody swims together, gets to know each other. So it's like
you press up some stuff and warm ups.
Or disgusting stuff. Like half people are walking out with like one arm missing after these sessions. And then you get into it, and then after the hell weeks are done, then you get into the proper training. And then we go to around just before, I think it was October, we went to altitude.
Yeah.
So then I'm still training with my squad. I actually have a new coach called Andy Wallace. He's the ex-national centre coach, the one from Loughborough. And he moved to take our squad. So then then we went to altitude in October time, and we went there for 3 weeks. And the island have recently announced that that's where they'll be going as well. But because they went, that was their first time going, same time my first time was going. And we had our lectures or whatever while we were there, but we just caught them up online because they're recorded. And yeah, I had pretty good fun at the altitude camp. We did a monitoring set of 3.2s, and a lot of the time, and I think my fastest was 2:01 up there. And what was yours while we were up there?
Maybe 158. I can't remember.
158. My 2:01's a bit questionable.
No, 157. I went
157. Mine's a bit questionable though because of I had a bit of a draft. I'd say it was probably around I averaged 2:04s.
to explain the heart rates that we have to go to.
Oh yeah, we go white, pink, red. So to 160 heart rate.
150, 160.
160 heart rate. You gotta push the limits. And yeah, so then we did that. Then we went to Scottish Nationals. So then we went to Scottish Nationals, and Dan, I went to both, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I'll just run over quickly. You've seen the vlogs, obviously, but went 2 top times in the world over 2 and a European record, and I went like 14:14 and 7:25. That's really it. You've seen the vlogs, you know what?
And I became the second person ever in Ireland to break 15 minutes. I went 14:57. Obviously started training distance swimming in April, so I was getting fully into it, and obviously a big altitude camp helped. And then I went 7:47 and I went 3:50 in the 400 there, so pretty good times. I was pretty happy with them. And got my first big national medal in Scotland. And yeah, and then when we went to Christmas, chilled out over Christmas. I think I had like 3-4 days off, and then we went to the next altitude camp where we had to do our exams there. So we had like our coaches invigilating us, and yeah, now we're really at the point now where we're breaking into the long course season. I know I'm doing Dave McCullough next week.
I swam the Luxembourg meet already.
Dan already swam the Luxembourg meet. I'm sure you saw the shorts
And the
YouTube videos we made. And
we've got Bucks next week.
you've got Bucks, I've got Dave McCullough, and then we'll be doing Edinburgh International and and
Irish trials. So hopefully we'll see some of you there. Yeah, let's talk about future things to come to up and coming in 2023. We've got the world champs and pre-qualified again in Japan, so that'll be great. And then under 23, which is in Dublin, so you'll see me at that too. So now we're going to go to the public questions. We got distance workouts. We do, and the best sets we've done. Want to talk about a set you've done? We'll do one each.
Well, we did this set the other night where it was 4 rounds of 5 ones descend to purple, so white, pink, red, blue, purple on 140, and then 800 on 11, 10, and basically it was descend 1 to 3, and the last 800 was 200, and it was negative split at the end of the race.
We'll put the set up on the screen.
And I won't get into what times we went because we'll keep that a secret, but we'll just say me and Daniel had a very, very good set.
Very fast. And yeah, that was obviously a good set. I'll give another one. I've not done this season. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
That's my favourite one so far.
That's my favourite one I've done so far this season. Did some good ones at altitude.
We were suited as well. Probably should have mentioned that.
To be honest, I was really like, I said this on the vlog actually last week, but I really just like long sets, like thousands or something like that, just holding like 105s. I'm just a big fan of like long reps like that. All right, Nathan will ask the next question.
You can just zone out on them. It's quite nice. How long does it take to develop to become a distance freestyler? Well,
or a decent freestyler.
In terms of distance, I haven't even been swimming a year yet, and I've been swimming pretty well. Yeah. So
I think Nathan's not understanding the question, right? But we're talking about how long it takes to develop to become a decent freestyler, like a good level.
Well, training freestyle.
Well, yeah. Well, you were swam before, so you still got the aerobic base, but I'll be honest, it's different. It's different for anyone. It's a very wide question, but I mean, as you can say, it took me from when I was 11 to what's decent level. I mean, maybe we'll say national finalist. Probably took me 5 to 6 years to become a national finalist from when I started. Next, we got future ambitions for swimming. I think I've said this a couple of times, but I want to be a world champ medalist. That's my goal.
I actually want the same, but I want to beat him to it.
That's it. Next question we got about parents and
good swimmers. So our mum used to swim, but we don't know how good she was. She'll probably brag and say that she was good, but we don't know.
Yeah,
there is no documents on her times that she went. So
yeah,
and my dad can't swim. Worst swimmer you can find. Did a bit of martial arts, but I don't think that really helped that much.
Competitiveness when we were younger, we were really competitive. I don't know if I talked about this in another vlog, but we played a game, me and Daniel, to get our turns better, where we would every turn would be a point, and whoever would win, so it'd be 5 in, 5 out, so you wouldn't max yourself out all the time. And I think I can't remember, and then every session was a new game, so then whoever won that session, then you have to try and win the next one, stuff like that. Yeah. So next question, we got biggest obstacle so far in swimming. I don't think I've gone on a season without having an injury. That's obviously an obstacle. Just have this shoulder tendonitis kind of thing that just comes and goes when it wants. That's kind of an obstacle that I've come across at the moment. It's hard to get out of. It could put me out for weeks of training. But yeah.
I've never really been injured.
What? No, really. Obstacle. It doesn't have to be that.
Already deciding on what stroke to swim was pretty hard. Like, it took me like years to decide between backstroke and freestyle, but then I've decided on freestyle.
That shows that you don't need to specialise when you're young, because Nathan only specialised really this year into freestyle.
Yeah. Secret to fast swimming? Well, I'll let Daniel answer that one.
I don't know the secret. Good turns. Definitely.
Loving training.
Yeah. Training's better than racing. That's what I think. What's better why do I choose a 2-beat over a 6-beat kick? I don't think it's really a choice. It's just something that happened when I was swimming. I'm never really a naturally good kicker.
Hold a 6-beat kick.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Top people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Distance freestyle, you see a lot of 2-beat. I just did it because I'm not very good at kicking. It probably uses more energy and also
more balance based.
Yeah, maybe. So that's why. Do we like swimming with fins? No, I hate fins. I think they're the worst invention ever.
Who asked this question?
Yeah. They are literally the worst piece of equipment. Basically, I think if you wear fins in a set, you should half your meters. Next question. Loughborough structure.
So we went into this already.
Yeah, but we basically, at the moment, you've got 4 squads. You've got PD, Performance Development, Nathan's squad. You've got the distance squad, and you've got the sprint squad, which the sprint squad is taken by Connor Andrews. Sprint and midi. Yeah. And
no, sprint, midi, distance.
Oh, so you've got 3 squads in the thing. The midi is taken by Andy Wallace and the distance taken by Andy Wallace. And then my group with high performance, we've got distance and IM, which is Andy Manley, and sprint and kind of mid distance now is Ian Hume. Plans for after uni. I think I'm gonna finish uni probably in 2025 after the Olympics. But I still think I'm gonna stay in Loughborough and continue swimming. Nathan, have you got any plans?
Mine's all depend on outcomes of swimming in the next 1.5 years.
It is hard to decide what you're gonna do.
Depending on, well, you can guess from that, Paris, depending on what happens with Paris or not, and then I'll decide. Otherwise, I might go into software development. So did we consider going to Ireland for university instead of Loughborough? Not really, no. I think we went to look round Trinity. No, it wasn't Trinity. UCD, and it was pretty bad experience, if I'm being honest. Like, we turned up to the computer science building and it wasn't even open, so that kind of like ruined it for us. So I was already set on Loughborough from the start, so it didn't really matter to me.
You can answer.
Has distance always been your favourite? Well, no, because I only just changed this year, but it is my favourite now. I way prefer the sessions and training it.
Yeah, it's better to train distance than anything else. It's like a different type of training, and you gotta be a different type of person as well. Doing like 90k weeks. What's the next question? When did swimming turn from a hobby to like competitive? When do you think it turned? I'd say
I don't get really.
Maybe when I made my first team in 2017, but obviously didn't go. It was probably when I started taking it really seriously. When did you start taking swimming like properly? Probably when.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think I've always taken it seriously.
Yeah, I think so. Have you ever thought like, is swimming really worth all the training that we do? And like, do we ever like have like negative thoughts? I mean, we're swimming 90k a week. We're gonna be realistic with the audience here. You have your down days, especially when you're on a Tuesday night. You've got the rest of the week coming. You've got an IM session. They're always the tough ones. But I think every swimmer will get them. They might say they're not, but
I think like if you're doing a mid-D session, something like 2k main set or whatever, where a distance session's like a 4k main set. If you're having a bad set, you've still got your k in. You've still got 3k to go. You're pretty like, this stings a bit. But you have to push through it.
Yeah.
Think of your competitors, what your competitors doing in the morning.
But yeah, I guess we get through them. But to be honest, you just get in, you do the session, and then you're like, I feel a lot better after it. But yeah, I don't think I'll be quitting anytime soon. And I think that was the last question. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video next week.
Like the video,
Yeah. See ya.
comment below.
Oh, sorry.
Comment below. See you later.